Well, TGIF, it's cold and rainy out there, so it's nice to stay home and cook some kind of comfort food. And what's more comfort food than pasta? So right now I'm cooking in abundant water and a lot of salt until al dente. I'm cooking Cavattappi, and it's that shape, which is not really macaroni. It's kind of a little bit bigger than macaroni, and it's spiral. Stay tuned. Pasta Cavattappi cooked to perfection, al dente, and now it is in a strainer, getting rid of excess water so we can make the actual sauce. Well, hello, buonasera. It's Niveen with Niveen's Cuisine, and today is another dreamy, cold, rainy day, which calls for some comfort foods. And what's more comforting than pasta or macarona? It's such a lazy morning that I haven't even gotten out of my pajamas and robe yet, and slippers, and enjoying it. So I thought I'd get up before I slip into a coma and make this dish so it's ready for dinner, so I can just relax the rest of the day and enjoy looking out the window at the rain and the clouds. So today we're doing Cavattappi e Fromaggio, and you can also call it gourmet mac and cheese if you want. So I got a packet of pancetta, 4 ounces, and I find this at Trader Joe's, and I have it in a pan. I'm not adding any fat or anything because the pancetta, while it's cooking, just like bacon, it will release its own fat. And I have a large shallot chopped up. I'm going to add that to the pancetta, let it cook together. And shallots are basically a marriage between garlic and onion. So when you're cooking with it, you don't really need to add garlic because all this wonderful aroma of garlic and onion is in one. So I'm going to let that cook until the shallots are golden and the pancetta is golden also. So I'm making a cheese sauce today that has 3 cheeses. We got smoked gouda because it adds that nice smoky, rich flavor. Fontina, it melts really nice. And of course, what Italian food is without parmesan? And I'm going to add a little bit of flour and make a roux because the flour stabilizes the sauce, the milk sauce. So I got my Il Postino soundtrack behind me playing, and it's reminiscent of all these beautiful Mediterranean days, and reminds me of how beautiful that movie is. I ought to watch it soon sometime. The music is amazing. If you haven't yet watched Il Postino, I think you should rent it or buy it. So it's looking nice and golden. I'm going to add half a cup of flour. Mix it in until it's all nice and covered, and let it cook a little bit. Then I'm going to add 2 cups of milk. I like to cook with whole milk. I'm going to add a little bit at a time to form the roux. And the roux basically is the basis of so many sauces. You can make it thick, you can thin it out. Bechamel sauce is one of the sauces you make with the roux, and the roux is basically melted fat, which is butter, and flour mixed together. You cook it a little bit, and then you add your milk, or half and half, and then whatever cheeses you're using for that particular dish. It's a very old, commonly used recipe. It's the bechamel sauce for a lot of Mediterranean, Greek dishes like moussaka, like pasticcio. You make a roux, you thin it out, you thicken it. It's fabulous. We're going to keep stirring it until we get the consistency that I want. Let it bubble and boil a little bit. Now you shouldn't add a lot of salt to this dish because you have salt in the pancetta. And by the way, if you can't find pancetta, you can always use bacon. And you also have salt in all three cheeses. So I'll taste first before I add any kind of salt. I've also cooked some peas, and I chopped up some prosciutto. So this is kind of a very special dish indeed. Well, our sauce is starting to bubble nicely, and I'm going to add some freshly cracked black pepper. And it's starting to bubble up nicely. You can also add artichokes, sun-dried tomato, mushrooms, whatever you like. I'm just making it simple today because I'm in a lazy kind of mood. So once it starts bubbling, I'm going to start adding 2 cups of fontina cheese cut in little cubes. And stir it up. Then I will add about a cup of chopped up slices of smoked gouda. And stir it up. Keep now on medium heat so the bottom doesn't get scorched. Boy, look at that. Or maybe I'll add a little bit more milk because it's getting really thick and we don't want the pasta to get stuck. I'm gonna add another cup of milk, so that makes it 3 altogether. Some parmesan reggiano. Another cup. If you know me well, you know I love my cheese, I love my butter, I love my pasta. I know it's all bad habits, but what to do, what to do. I taste it. Oh, yummy. Again, don't add any salt until put all the ingredients in. And they all have one amount of salt or the other. And now I'm putting in a cup of chopped prosciutto. wonderful. Make sure all the cheeses are melting before you add in your pasta. So I'm gonna get everything ready. So tonight I can throw it in the oven, get it all cooked in and warmed up together, and it will look wonderful, guaranteed. Make it a nice little salad with it, maybe some garlic bread if you want to, or just plain. Perfect. Maybe another dash of pepper. And also, if you know me well, you know I love garlic in everything. Almost everything other than dessert. But today we have the shallots, so we don't need garlic. And now the cheese sauce is ready. And I will add, I cooked in some pasta. And I cooked some peas. And I'm putting everything in now together to mix with that fabulous sauce that will elevate you to levels you've never known. Yum. Mix it in. So here's your Cavattappi with prosciutto, pancetta, peas, Cavattappi, fontina, parmesan, and smoked gouda. All right, so now I transferred it to a baking pan, baking plate, whatever you want to call it. And I'm gonna sprinkle some Italian breadcrumbs on top. Put it in a 350 degrees when I'm ready to warm everything up and give it a nice little crunchy top. Mamma mia!